we left the runway, got air, took off, got down towards the end of the runway, and we were still climbing, and he banked it to the left. Well, it quit in midair first, about 100 feet above the trees, 150 feet above the trees. And when it quit, propeller was straight up and down. And we didn't have enough altitude. He banked it, and we didn't have enough altitude to clear the Route 16. We was headed north over that. Not enough altitude to make it to the Old Town Airport or anywhere. So he asked me to put my head between my knees. I watched him shut a couple magnetos off on the dash, and he told me to put my head between my knees and pray for the best. And I did that, and I don't know how long it was before I woke up, but I was knocked out, obviously. When I woke up, and we was in a swamp, and when I did come to, I saw was flashing lights, obviously from the ambulance. I don't really remember much of it, just about what I told you. I do have a lot of pain, my back, my shoulders. Well, I take a lot of medications. I take 13 medications, actually, because they're not all narcotics. Blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel depressed. I didn't feel depressed. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, pretty much. I like to have fun. Who doesn't? Because some of the medications are to better me, my blood pressure, my cholesterol. And, if I was depression, no, it never sat in. I just want to go forward. I have no complaints. Acid reflux again. I feel if I don't have my medication, my narcotics. Talk about depressed. It hurt so bad that you cry. They amputated one leg before I came to this room. Obviously, this has been a while because I'm shaving and all hurt and all that stuff. They left my left leg because the ankle was rotted off, pretty much. Meat, you could see meat and bones. But they left it on there, I don't know why, to see how far it was going to rot off, I guess, and circulate and stuff like that. This is Blaine, my newborn, our newborn, I guess, at the time. He was only 2 weeks old, well, probably going on 3 here, 3 or 4. He's the best thing happened to me at the time, because I almost died. So I don't know. Seeing him in the hospital when I woke up in intensive care, it just flutters on the inside. While I was trapped in the plane after the wreck, and I woke up from being knocked out, I guess. All I could think about was Blaine, just a couple miles across the road. He was in his crib when I left sleeping that morning at the trailer. We was living in a trailer. I just wanted to go back home.
He's going to need that son in the years ahead, and it hasn't happened. When Blaine got married last year, I figured now that Blaine has a wife and a family, they're going to include him.
I'd love to see more of them, because when I move to Hudson, I'll be closer to them. And they're really not that far away now. So, and he's a busy man. He's a young man. He's starting a life, a family. I'm hoping it's closer. Put it that way. I'll make my best effort to make it better. We really didn't spend much time together through his growing up. I kind of missed that, but he's a grown man. He knows where I live. I love him to death.
Ricky, the things that he's been through and the heartaches and the surgeries, Ricky's lived a hell right here on earth. And it's hard to sit back and watch things like that happen to your children.
These are the collapsed lung scars. One there, one over here. This one, collapsed lungs. One was collapsed at the site. The other one collapsed when they got to the hospital. And this one's from trying to suicide. And that's a drain. That was the drain. I tried to commit suicide. Wow. What brought it all on was I went to camp with my dad and my neighbor. So we get back home. It was raining. Pretty good. And so Dad, okay, he had a good buzz too. And Bossy had a good buzz. And obviously I did too. Excuse me. So mother-in-law was having a dinner up to the farm, and Dad wanted me to leave my vehicle at his house, and I didn't want to because I was too stubborn. Slammed into a pole, transformers dangling, telephone poles in splinters. I get out of the car, and at the time I didn't care because I was buzzed, intoxicated actually. And so Mom and Dad come around the corner, and I'm out of my car by then. Get to my house, and the baby's sleeping in the crib, Blaine. And I go up the stairs, walking through the basement, upstairs, and Terry's sitting on the couch, and I can tell she was pissed. Don't blame her. And Terry asked me to leave to go to my mom and dad's house. And this is a brand new home. I can spend a couple nights in it maybe. So I knew if I didn't go, that she was going to call the cops on me. She thought I was going to be violent, obviously. But I knew Blaine was home in the crib, even though I was drunk. And knife behind me, a rack of knives behind me. So I grabbed the pair knife out of the block there, knife block, and 6-inch pair knife. And I proceeded to just, I knew what I was doing, but she wasn't going to kick me out of my own house.
I'll always blame myself for Ricky trying to kill himself because she called us. Jim and I went up, and he started in on her, and I sided with her. And he picked up that knife and did this, and then he set it down. And then he picked it back up, and it went in here and it come right out his back. He took it out and he set it down, didn't even blink. And the blood started going from his prosthetic legs across the floor. We called the ambulance, and Terry said, "I'm not going. This is it."
And just intoxication, and her telling me to leave my own home, our home, I should say, at the time. I didn't want to take that as an answer. I done the hot seat twice. We had the families come in, and you tell them, they tell you how they feel, and you tell them how you feel and about the whole situation. And I done that twice, and after that, until about, I'm going to say, almost a year. Previous to almost a year, say a year, I quit drinking for 14 years until a year ago. And I said, life ain't getting no shorter. I'm going to have fun. I'm not hurting nobody. So that's the way I look at it.
I don't want the old Ricky back, and I'm so afraid. I don't know. I mean, he got by for almost 20 years without a drink. Why all of a sudden does he think he needs it now?
And the runway's right here. It's weird because it's all grown in. You see leaves now, but because the runway's right here, and it's right there. And it's unreal. Snowmobile went by right here. The ambulance backed up right here. And all that's fabric. It's not metal. When I did come to, I was thirsty as hell. I couldn't drink the water because there's fuel, gasoline in the water around us in the swamp. I was pretty much, I felt like I was upside down pretty much because the plane was nosedive into the swamp. And I just remember red flashing lights. And that was when the game wardens found us. There was a note dropped from the air by the game wardens.
It's just unbelievable. I felt like, why didn't we see him sooner? Why didn't somebody know he was there, right off the road?
But I wish I could walk down.
Because I really thought it was down beyond them woods.
So thick.
That's what I've thought all these years. And when he used to talk about hearing school buses and seeing this and that, I just assumed he was like hearing things because so long without food and water or whatnot. But now I understand it wasn't. He really did hear them things, and how hard that must have been to sit in that plane and wonder why nobody was coming to help him. And it's amazing you remember a lot of that with the trauma that you went through.
Yeah, and put me in induced coma. And, yeah.
Right.
I remember the first day he woke up.
Because I thought shock made you forget a lot.
Sean, when Blaine was on my chest in intensive care, that's when I come alive.
That's when you remember
the angels.
most.
First, the angels came.
I can't swear, but first time he woke up, he looked at his father and he said, "Holy, look at the stereo system in this building." He was hooked up to every kind of a machine that
intensive care,
and he thought it was a stereo. In a way, it was like it just happened. And then you turn around, you look at Ricky, so you know that it didn't just happen, but a very, very emotional. I just had no idea. Every time I've ever gone by there, I've always looked way beyond that runway, thinking that he was way in the woods there somewhere, and to know that he was right beside the road, it's mind-blowing.
It's just so hard to believe that he's made it through it. And there's a reason. He's here.
They left my fingers on, although they were black, ready to fall off. They bandaged them up, and I don't really know why they left them on there just to see if they rotted, to see how far they was going to rot off, I guess, or the circulation. I never really read the reports and stuff.
He's free. He just doesn't care what people think. He is who he is. And you accept him like he is, or you don't accept him at all. And most people love him because of that, I think. He's real.
What he's been through, if I had been through it, I'd probably do any damn thing I want to do.
What I would like to do now in the future is run heavy equipment. I'm a big risk for a company to hire me. Insurance purposes, my health, of course. Because getting it up in the heavy equipment, you have ladders, a couple of runners to get up and down, maybe. Which I've done it. I proved to the state or whoever did it. Took me to a heavy equipment place and asked me to get up in the tractor, which I did. I climbed the ladder. Different story when it came down, Bill. I ruined it. I showed him I could do too much. I'm a little bit illiterate, so I think it's going to be hard to get the permit. I don't know if they help you anyway, or because you can study a book and stuff like that. If I feel like I can do it, I can do it. Why not give me the chance?